Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order our regular city council meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd. It's December already. Wow. 2019. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Roll call.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
Council President Rosner.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Young. Here. Councilor Garland.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you, Present Councilor Scott. Approval of agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Council. We have a consent agenda this evening, 5 items on it. Approval of November 19th, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. Item B is Resolution 2019-084, authorizing the city manager to purchase 2 vehicles for Sherwood Broadband. Item C is Resolution 2019-085, approving an IGA with Clackamas County for internet service provider services and authorizing the mayor to sign. Item D is Resolution 2019-086, approving the city recorder's canvassing of the Washington County election returns of the November 5th, 2019 special election and directing the city recorder to enter the results into the record. And finally, item E is Resolution 2019-087, amending the City of Sherwood Home Rule Charter as approved by city electors at the November 2019 election.
I move consent.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of approving the consent as presented on the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Citizen comments. Anyone like to address Council on something? Yeah, come on.
Come on up.
It's all right. We'll get you squared away after. Please take a seat. Make the button go green.
That's red.
Are you implying that you might be colorblind?
No, not at all.
All right, but it is a
Mayor Mays. Hi,
Look.
how you doing?
good to see you.
City Council, thanks for having us. Thought we would just give you a brief update from some of our November numbers and maybe a little bit of fire safety for you. Chief, you gonna join in? So in the month of November, we ran 113 medical calls, EMS calls, at Station 33, your Sherwood Fire Station. As you all know, mostly medical calls. 80% of our 911 calls are medical calls. We have been increasingly getting more and more busy here in Sherwood. We have a new assisted living facility. The Ackerleys open up, and we have responded there a few times. We've had in November we had 3 residential fires and 1. Thank you so much. Speaking points. 3 residential fires and 1 commercial fire. And let's see, 14 motor vehicle collisions. And then I just want to point out we had 4 cardiac arrest calls in November. And we have a great partnership with Sherwood PD, and every time we are dispatched on a cardiac arrest, officers are as well. And majority of the time they tend to beat us to the call, which we're not that excited about that. But they are very quick getting there, and they carry AEDs, and they're able to, if the situation calls for it, they're able to use their AEDs and then also initiate CPR. And a lot of times we'll arrive and we'll start doing our thing, but a lot of times our officers will continue CPR for us, and they do a great job. So I just wanted to give them a attaboy. And then a couple fire safety things here, messages. We're all cooking more over the holiday season, so I thought I'd talk about a little cooking safety. Kitchen fires are our number one cause for structure fires. One of the biggest reasons for kitchen fires is just they're simply left unattended. So just, never leave your cooking unattended. If you do have a stovetop fire, unplug the heat source, turn it off, unplug the range, slowly slide a lid over the top of the fire. Do not move the pan or put water on it. Both of these actions may cause the fire to spread. And then if it's a oven or microwave fire, same thing. Just turn power off to the unit. Keep the door closed. This will remove the oxygen and help extinguish the fire. And make sure, if you cannot extinguish the fire, make sure you and your family get outside of the structure safely and call 911. And then a little bit on smoke detectors. Make sure you all have working smoke detectors. Our majority of our fire fatalities occur at night when folks are sleeping, so it pays to have a working smoke alarm. Check them a couple times a year. Make sure they have a charged battery as well, because most of our smoke detectors are hardwired, but they need a battery backup that is fully charged, or they won't work properly. We run into that a lot, and you can call us if you need assistance with your smoke detectors. Don't hesitate to call us. We can come out and make sure they're operating properly, or give you a new smoke detector.
Ooh, that's a good tip for folks. When you don't want to climb 20 feet up in the air, if you got a smoke detector way up high,
Yeah, and we do that.
give them a call.
Vaulted ceilings.
I think that's...
Calling you next.
I've got one of those. So I'm sure others
So
do too.
expect some calls, I'm guessing. That's right.
Well, we're volunteering you, so, and you're on the World Wide Web right now, so.
Yeah. That's all I had. Do you have any questions for us, or at all? Or?
No, I appreciate you coming and giving us the update. I appreciate all you do.
You have an event coming up at the station? that you
Yes,
wanna
we
plug?
do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, of course we do. Yeah,
You know what
I
I'm
know
talking about, right?
that. We have. Yeah, we have.
I'm just making sure.
We have Christmas coming up, and our Santa rides coming up. We have, I'm thinking we have the parade on the 7th.
Right?
Right, parade on the 7th, and then we have the Santa rides on the 18th or 20th.
I think the 21st. I think it's a little later.
I think you're right. I think it's the 21st. Thanks for your help.
Well, it's a compressed schedule.
It is a C shift, so the four of us are on duty that day. So we'll be there for that one. So I guess I really should have known that date.
Awesome.
But and I will give a shout out to our volunteers, because our volunteers at Station 33 really are the ones that put that on and do a fantastic job. So we're just kind of there.
Awesome.
Honestly.
And the community loves it, so
Yeah.
not every day you can come and see Santa.
Yeah.
The
Anything
reason
else
I
we have
ask is
going
I saw some questions about when it was going to be online, so I
Right. Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
You're right. Thank you. Anyone else like to address council that has filled out a form or not? All right. We'll let the fire guys sneak out the back of the room, and we will move on to new business. One item under new business today, Resolution 2019-088, amending the employee manual in order to implement the recommendations of the PTO subcommittee. Joe and Tim.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'll start this, and then I will hand it off to Council President Rosner. So just a little reminder of the background. The council back in July of 2018 formed a subcommittee. That subcommittee was Council President Tim Rosner, Councilor Renee Brous, and Councilor Kim Young. And since that original meeting or formation back in July of 2018, the subcommittee has met numerous times over the last year to take a look at a variety of policies related to PTO, admin leave, and ultimately a PTO cash out policy. This resolution is in front of you. They basically have a recommendation they want to make to the rest of council. And you then, after answering or asking any questions you have of them, can then vote to amend or not amend the employee manual to implement their recommendations. So with that, I'll let Council President Rosner.
I'll keep this somewhat brief. I was volunteered by Councilor Young to be the spokesman, but we really didn't have a chair on the committee. But Joe, you summed up the really well why and how we formed the committee and why the committee was formed. And we looked at basically three things, and you guys feel free to jump in if I get something wrong here. We looked at three things. We looked at PTO, we looked at admin leave, and we looked at the policy around how PTO is cashed out. Are there scenarios where employees can cash out PTO? And for the most part, we didn't change a lot. There are some changes, however. For instance, we formalized the PTO cash out policy for exempt employees and how that's going to work, and that's documented in here. And there's some rules around it to make sure that it's used appropriately. We eliminated a requirement where exempt employees had to use 1 day of PTO when they were sick, which we didn't think was an effective way of managing PTO and sick time for employees. So that requirement is going away. And then we formalized our admin leave policy, which, Joe, if I'm remembering correctly, we never really had a formal council resolution or policy around that in the past.
I could not find any formal decision by a previous council. We found a policy that has been in existence for many years, but that policy never had a date of adoption or any action by council.
Yeah,
I mean, it was back in employee manuals or handbooks, like 1998, 99. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been in the
So
handbooks.
It's been something we've been doing a long time, but we never had a formal policy around it, so we decided we need to take a look at that. And the policy, for those that don't know what admin leave is, we have a lot of employees, like Sylvia. Sylvia, I'll use you as an example, who come to these council meetings twice a month and have a lot of activity that's outside the normal workday. So the admin leave policy is a way for them to get some time off because of all the extra hours that they have to put in on a consistent basis. And what Joe and his staff have done is this policy basically gives Joe the authority to decide which position gets how much admin leave in any given year. And I think that's part of the packet that we have in front of us today. But it's basically just those three things that we're changing, and we wanted to formalize that in the employee handbook as we move forward. And did you want to?
Well, yeah, the other key thing about the administrative leave is that at one point it was straight across the board that these employees got so many, I think it was 40 hours. And we came up with categories, but there is a caveat that Joe as a city manager can add or delete at the discretion so that there's an open door there.
So to be clear, that it's the discretion that it can exceed your proposal. So again, since you picked on city recorder, if Joe or whoever the city manager is at the time deems at the beginning of the year that the city recorder should get 80, they can get 80.
I don't think that was our intent.
I want to be clear. I want this to be crystal clear.
The way the policy is written is it allows the city manager to move employees within the existing matrix.
12,
That's the way I
20,
read
or
it.
40 being
So
the
it's
max.
12, 20, and 40 are the only options, and the city manager can move classifications within those categories, but not outside of those categories.
Correct.
And the way that they were currently set was based off of conversations with the supervisors too. So supervisors had a say in where people ended up.
Okay.
An excellent question, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, that basically sums up the policy. I would just like to end, I did find one, and I talked to Joe and Josh about this earlier today, but as I was reading through the policy, and I'm on the wrong page, but there, when, if I could just look at it real quick, yeah. So on section 6.2.9, admin leave and PTO are two complete distinct buckets, so we need to add just a little clarification there that the admin leave is not a credit to your PTO. It's admin leave. The two things don't mix.
So Josh, did you have specific words to put in the document?
So the confusion was because we used the phrase paid time off in subsection A, but we're not referring to paid time off, capital PTO, just the descriptive paid time, excuse me, the descriptor paid time off. So after the words paid time off, we're suggesting in parentheses writing distinct from PTO. To clarify that. That's the only suggestion we're making.
So do you want to make a motion to amend your proposal?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend the proposal section 6.2.9 to add at the end in parentheses distinct from PTO.
Second.
All in favor, discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion to amend Resolution 2019-088, specifically the, as commented by Tim, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we have an amended resolution and addendum or whatever. I need to unclip it. For consideration, discussion by council. I appreciate the work that Tim, Renee, and Kim did on this and staff, and for putting this together. I am confident that this amended one will pass, but I'm not going to support it. I don't agree with it. I'm not going to get into the details, and that's okay. We don't always have to agree. But I don't, it's not what I was hoping would come back. That's not the way I believe we should be managing staff, even though that's the way it's been done unofficially for many years. But it's okay. So, any other questions or discussion? Here I have a motion.
I move that we adopt Resolution 2019-088, amending the employee manual in order to implement the recommendations of the PTO subcommittee, as amended.
Second. Second. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of approving the resolution, the motion approving Resolution 2019-088 as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, Tim, Renee, Kim, and
Thank
staff.
you.
Public hearings. We have two public hearings on the agenda this evening. Sylvia?
The Sherwood City, excuse me, the Sherwood City Council will hold public hearings this evening to hear testimony on Ordinance 2019-016, approving annexation AN 19-02 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 48.17 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area, and Ordinance 2019-017, approving annexation AN 19-03 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 47.25 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff. Questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by discussion by the council. This is the first hearing before the City Council on both these items. Generally, the council will hold 2 hearings prior to making a decision. A second hearing on these items is currently scheduled for the December 17th meeting. However, in accordance with the Sherwood City Charter, council reserves the right to make a decision at the close of this hearing by a unanimous vote of all sitting council members. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the city recorder. The mayor will recognize people wishing to speak. Any questions should be addressed through the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. Joy.
Good evening, Mayor Mays and Councilors. Joy Chang, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. In front of you tonight is the Sherwood Industrial Park Annexation Proposal to the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services, case file AN 19-02. This site is located at 12822 Southwest 12th and Sherwood Road and is within the Tonkin employment area. It is just outside the city, southwest corner of the intersection at Southwest 12th and Sherwood Road and Southwest 124th Avenue, as reflected on this slide. The annexation consists of a total of 48.17 acres, of which 1.64 acres is Southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way dedication. There are 3 levels of approval criteria when it comes to annexations. There's state, regional, and local levels, and I'll talk about those in the next slides. So in 2016, state legislators passed Senate Bill 1573 that allowed for 100% property owner-initiated annexation, so long as the items listed on this particular slides are met. The site is inside the urban growth boundary and is contiguous to the city boundary line. Besides submitting the Senate Bill 1573 annexation petition in 2012, Sherwood voters authorized annexations of properties in the Tonkin employment area into the city subject to council public hearing and approval. Furthermore, the applicant is requesting annexation to Clean Water Services Service District under the provisions of ORS 199.510 sub 2 sub C. This provisions allows a site annexing to the city to be also annexed into the boundary of the service district, in this case, Clean Water Services. City staff has reviewed the urban services, determined that it is feasible to service the site as indicated in the staff report. The site is within the Washington County ESPD, Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District. Once annexed to the city, it will be withdrawn from the county ESPD, and Sherwood Police will service the site. The proposal is consistent with the urban service agreements, Clean Water Services, and Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue agreements. The proposal will also promote orderly facilities, effective urban services, and avoid duplication of services as required by the regional criteria. The City of Sherwood completed the Tonkin Employment Area Concept Plan in 2010. This site identifies the local comprehensive plan and Tonkin Employment Area Plan approval criteria. As described in the staff report, all the growth management and Tonkin Employment Area criteria have been met for the annexation. Once the site is annexed into the city boundary, the Employment Industrial EI zoning designation will be applied. Based on the criteria of the Senate Bill 1573 and ORS 199.510 sub 2 sub C metro annexation criteria and the city policies in the comprehensive plan and Tonkin employment area, staff recommends approval of the Sherwood Industrial Park annexation petition to the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District for case file number AN 19-02. So council options, you can adopt ordinance number 2019-016 with a unanimous vote tonight, or hold the first public hearing tonight, then hold the second reading on December 17th. That concludes my oral staff report and can answer any questions you may have.
I have a question, which I think I forgot, and we were just pointing at that little dogleg section, that weird little, what's the reason it's that shape? I think you told us once before, you know, that little,
The remnant.
Let's get
the remnant.
It's the road.
That's where the road goes, right there,
Yeah.
Oh, so let me
okay.
just get this.
right where it says 8813, that's the road.
Yes.
I knew it was something.
This particular
Yeah.
line, I'm going to present this on the next annexation request, but their original site was one entire site, and through the partition process, it was determined that ultimately the new Blake Road will be along that alignment.
Road.
Thank you.
It's not named, the road to be named later.
Later, yes,
There will be a road there.
Thank you.
correct.
No.
Other questions?
Be honest, my memory is far from perfect. I know this shocks some of the audience. Not the, that we somehow have the authority to, as part of our process, do the annexation into Clean Water Services.
And Mayor Mays, that's not your memory being far from perfect. It is a newer process that was not previously something that we did. So you remember correctly that we had not done it before, but it is now something that we are able to do, and Clean Water Services actually prefers us to do it this way.
Yeah, I can understand why, but.
One-step process.
Okay. Yeah, I have any other questions for staff at this point? Applicant, if you have anything you'd like to, give you an opportunity. So, welcome. You could have got away with without even filling that out, since you're the applicant. But appreciate you did.
Wasn't quite sure on that one.
When in doubt.
My name's Reed Stapleton. I'm a land use planner with Dow. He's our guy. My name is Kirk Olson. I'm with Trammell Crow Company, and we're the official applicant for this, and very much looking forward to this process. It's been a milestone on our project agenda for quite some time, although maybe not as long as Julia's and others. Stu Peterson with McAdam Forbes is also here. He is or will help us market the site. So we're just thrilled to be here, and we've been involved in the land for about 3 years now. Seems like a long time, and really wanted to thank city staff, Julia, for all of her work that goes back much longer than 3 years, getting this site ready. And Joy and Joe and Bruce, Eric, who else? Erica, Bob, of course, Bob. How did I forget Bob? So thank you all for entertaining our questions and guiding us through the process here as we get ready to turn this into a development. A little bit on Trammell Crow. We've been active in the Portland metro area since 1980. We're commercial real estate developers, all sorts of development from multifamily to retail, office, but our fastball is industrial. We're one of the largest industrial developers in the region, year in and year out. And it's been 30 years since we've been developing along the Tualatin-Sherwood Road corridor, starting at 95th. So now we're out to 124th. About 4 distinct projects, over a dozen buildings in our 30 years developing this way. So we know the submarket. We know what companies value by way of an industrial park and by way of particular building features. So we're excited to get going on that. We intend to submit for permit application in the next 30 days or so, pending annexation. And, ultimately what we intend to do is help the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan 2040 be realized. What a successful development in our eyes will align with that comp plan. We hope to build one that supports local businesses that want to grow, one that will attract new companies to the city, increase the employment opportunities for city residences and others in the region, and ultimately, add to the tax base. And Tim and I chatted a little bit about that before the meeting here. So thanks again to city staff, and we're really looking forward to this milestone and future ones as we progress here into the new year. And Reed's our technical guy. Would love to answer any questions, but I'll defer to Reed if they're too technical.
Any questions for either? Well, Kirk, certainly I'm excited. I believe the community's excited that Trammell Crow is entering our, proposing to enter into our city and do some high-quality projects. And we're excited about that. Glad that timing-wise, if you want to submit an application next month, that's great. Absolutely will help with our goals as a community. And the question that Tim might have already asked you, since he did, and I know I've asked staff who's interacted with you, what else are you going to buy and develop? We've got more land, or people have more land that might be interested. So
we're always looking, but we're focused on this one, and our goal ultimately, well, not ultimately, but in the immediate term, is to commence construction, break ground in the summer of next month, summer 2020. Those dry summer months are really key for a construction start. So we're getting there.
Awesome. And is it going to be a phased approach, or are you just going to try to knock them all out quick? Do you know yet?
Personally, what I'm selling to capital partners is a one phase. So that's how bullish I am on the market. So it'll be 5 buildings, 500,000 square feet. So it's a lot. We'll have to see how capital markets respond to that. I think we will be able to do that if we're able to offer the buildings for sale or for release, which is what we've done in the past and have had success on. There are a lot of users and companies in the area that invest a lot in the building. We like manufacturers. Manufacturers like to own their buildings, so we want to offer buildings for sale. So yeah, that's our plan.
Great. Anything else? Also, we'll give an opportunity to anybody let's have a break and see if anybody wants to testify in support or opposition to your application. Actually, stay there. Anybody here that wants to testify, one way or the other? Great. So we'll close the public hearing of the first reading, maybe the last reading, don't know, of this ordinance. Any other questions of staff?
I have a question, now that you mentioned first reading or last reading, because it's always, because of Senate Bill 1573, this property is contiguous already to
the city.
We really can't deny it, even if we had people testifying.
It is meeting all the criteria. That is correct.
And then, because we're going to have another one, that one, if we prove this one, that next one will be contiguous to it sort of snowballs.
That is correct.
Okay.
I would also add that even though this is coming in under 1573, it didn't necessarily have to. The voters had pre-approved annexation of both of these parcels. So to me, that carries some weight as well in our decision around one reading versus two.
I would be fine with one reading tonight, Mayor.
Yeah, me too.
They always look at me for that one.
I hear some good universal nodding of heads, and yes, let's do something. So would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we recaption and adopt ordinance 2019-016, approving annexation AN 19-02 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 48.17 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area.
Second.
Awesome, thank you.
Ordinance 2019-016, approving annexation AN 19-02 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 48.17 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area. Councilor Scott?
Aye.
Councilor Griffin?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Garland?
Aye.
Council President Rosner?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Council, and thank you, Reed and Kirk. We are again excited to have you in town. Thank you very much. Joy, item B.
In front of you tonight is the Willamette Water Supply Annexation Proposal to the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services, case file AN-19-03. So the site is located at 21309 Southwest 124th Avenue and is within the Tonkin employment area. The site is just outside the city limits, one parcel south of the southwest corner of Southwest Walton Sherwood Road and 124th Avenue intersection. It's just south of the Sherwood Industrial Park Annexation 1902, as reflected on this slide, which you just approved. The annexation consists of a total of 47.26 acres, which 1.46 acres is right-of-way dedication to 124th Avenue. Again, 3 levels of criteria: state, regional, and local level. The state level, Senate Bill 1573. Again, it's 100% property owner initiated. It's inside the UGB and is now contiguous to the city boundary line within the with the Sherwood Industrial Park annexation that you just approved. And again, as a reminder, besides submitting the application for Senate Bill 1573 annexation petition, in 2012, Sherwood voters authorized annexation of the properties in the Tonkin employment area in the city, subject to city council public hearing and approval. This parcel is also requesting, or the applicant is requesting, annexation to Clean Water Services under the provisions of ORS 199.510 sub 2 sub C. And this allows the site to annex into the city because it is included in the boundary of the service district. We reviewed all the urban services and they're available. We're withdrawing from the enhanced sheriff patrol district because the sheriff will, city police will take over once annexed, and it is consistent with all the service, urban service agreements and other agreements with Clean Water Services and Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. This proposal will definitely promote orderly facilities, affect urban services, and avoid duplications of services. As far as the local criteria, it's the growth management. And again, the Tonkin employment was adopted and completed in 2010. And as described in the staff report, all the growth management and Tonkin employment area criteria have been met for the annexation. And once the site is annexed into the city boundary, employment industrial EI zoning designation will be applied. And based on that criteria, staff recommends approval of Willamette Water Supply annexation petition to the city of Sherwood boundary and Clean Water Services district boundary for case file AN 19-03. Adopt ordinance 2019-017 with a unanimous vote tonight, or hold the first public hearing tonight and hold the second reading on December 17th. And that concludes my staff report and can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Joy. Questions of staff by council? No? Applicant? Come on down. Welcome. I'm sure the light is green on the microphone. And
Good evening, Mayor Mays and members of the council. My name is Tommy Brooks, and I'm with the law firm Cable Houston. We're part of the legal team that helps the Willamette Water Supply Program, and I specifically do the land use stuff.
David Carrasco, Willamette Water Supply Program Director.
And I've got the easy part tonight because a lot of the hard work was done with the city staff and Angelo Planning Group, who works for the Willamette Water Supply Program, had been working together for a long time, along with and coordinating with Trammell Crow, since these properties were moving along at the same time. So appreciate everyone's hard work on that. We don't have anything to add to the staff report or the criteria. The only, I guess, clarification that I wanted to make in the record is there's some reference that the property is owned by Tualatin Valley Water District and the city of Hillsborough, which used to be the case. But the recent change has been the addition of the city of Beaverton into the Willamette Water Supply System Commission. This effort has actually spun off into its own separate intergovernmental entity. So not only is the commission the applicant here, it is also the owner of the property. And so that's the name you'll be hearing going forward as the system gets developed. But we wanted Dave to be here too to talk a little bit more about the overall effort, how this fits into the program, and of course answer any of the questions that you have.
Great.
The previous one went so smoothly, I don't want to say too much and mess it up, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. But as Tommy mentioned, we've been working with the city actually for a couple of years now, and everyone's been very generous with their time and helping us through a lot of the process, making sure that we're getting it right. I think we're really excited about the project that we have moving forward. It's really, of the program that we're doing, it's a $1.3 billion program of drawing water from the Willamette River and bringing it all the way up to Sunset Highway. It's a massive project, and really the water treatment plant is the crown jewel. And really the project owners, TVWD, City of Hillsborough, and Beaverton, see it that way and want it to be something to be very proud of. And the work that we have going into it right now, we're about 50% complete with design, and it is going to be a very, very nice facility. And part of our project, because there are no roads in the area, will be construction of what I've been told is Blake Street, but maybe it's a street to be named later. I'm sure that'll be part of the process we'll go through. But we'll look forward to working with you on that to land that properly as well. But with that, be glad to take any questions you might have.
Awesome. For the community that might be watching, this is sort of odd in that we're getting a huge water treatment facility planted in the city, but it's not the city's, or we're not an owner. We have our facility in Wilsonville. But it goes to show we are a good partner in the region, and we want our friends to be successful in having a long-term water supply. And if that means they need to park it in our town, that's their right, and we are supportive. Because certainly initially people would view it as odd, but circumstances are what they are. We're thrilled that you're going to build a world-class facility and one that will be an asset to our community. So we're appreciative of that. And yeah, it's not going to be cheap.
I have a comment.
Yes.
So I was approached by, I'm so glad the president's here. I was approached by a science teacher within the Sherwood School District, and they were hoping that there would be provisions for tours and educational opportunities on site at the plant, because it's going to be such a great facility, and it'll be so easy for the school district to maybe take buses over there and just keep an open mind.
Certainly it's easier than going to our facility in Wilsonville, for sure. So you can do that at our facility, but if it can be done there.
I don't know if they've thought about that or not, but
it is definitely part of the planning.
That'd be great.
That we think it will be a real landmark facility that we will be very proud of, and we are, with the architects, working through basically a safe path kind of through the facility for exactly those purposes.
That's awesome. That's great.
Other questions?
Well, kind of along the same lines.
Go ahead.
Sorry. There's some interesting geological features there with the Coke Pond back there related to the Missoula floods. Are you thinking about how that area will be treated? Is there potential to turn that into a park, create public access, maybe connect it to the Tonquin Trail system, those types of things?
So the property there, roughly 45, 48 acres, we will only be developing, well, I can't remember how much the road takes, but of the parcel of land that we need for the treatment plant, roughly 15, 20 acres, something like that. The portion that's to the south and east is largely about a 10-acre Coke Pond, which is a feature from the Missoula floods. When all the water came through, basically carved out these features in the rock, and we ended up with these ponds. Coke ponds is what they're called. One of the largest is right here on this property. And so part of our development is protecting that, is basically keeping all of our development facilities away from that. So that's going to be a protected feature, protected wetlands area. It is a natural habitat, and so we want to keep it that way. So part of the thinking that's gone on to date is to provide an opportunity for the people to experience it, to see it, but not to go on it. And so that's what we're working through right now with the plans. The plans aren't developed. That'll be part of our land use application as far as what we're actually intending there. But it is a balance that we're trying to land.
Viewing platform type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. We've got some of those at the refuge, so that's community's familiar to that kind of a thing.
So my colleagues may help you answer this question. Given that this 40 some odd acres of potential employment industrial land is now being used for purposes that will generate zero tax revenue for the city over the future, what do you, and the facility itself isn't servicing the city either, what are the benefits to Sherwood and Sherwood citizens for losing this potential revenue source? What are we gaining?
Great question.
Yeah, very good question and very appropriate. So we are providing the construction of the road. So what Blake Street, let's just call it for now, was intended as part of the Tonquin employment plan, and we are going to be constructing that for the city. We are going to be providing this basically like a park feature, so that'll be a place for the people to experience the Colt Pond that right now cannot be experienced. And I'd say another benefit that this facility can provide is basically an emergency backup supply of water to the community. The city's water supply is down in Wilsonville, and this facility will be much closer. I anticipate that as part of our planning with the project, we'll be to provide an emergency interconnect between our facility and the city's water system so that we can provide emergency backup supply should it be needed. I'd say for now, those are the benefits that come off the top of my head.
I could add one to that, which is some of that's has already occurred through the coordination. This was one big, large site, and between us working with Trammell Crow to figure out how to partition it in a way that really maximize their ability to develop that end where you will get those jobs and more of the tax revenue, and then for us to stay on that south side and shrink that site as much as we could while leaving the natural features which weren't developable anyway, and for us to occupy that footprint. I think if you look at these two sites together, you'll really see that they are together maximized.
And I think just to add on to that, I kind of had my first reaction was that way, but as I learned more about it, it's kind of a win-win because where they're putting this plant is the bedrock is very close to the ground. It's very difficult to develop. It would have been hard to get a for-profit company to come in and develop on that, but that's exactly what they want because it creates seismic resiliency and it's not subject to liquefaction and all those things we worry about with earthquakes. So I think it's probably a win-win in the end.
A free emergency backup connection.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
Can't
Not so
complain
bad.
about that.
And you're building the entire road from Oregon to 124th?
That's what I heard.
I just have to
Meeting
make
over.
sure I heard that right.
Call the meeting over.
Across the property is my expectation, understanding. It'd be great if you built it all. Might need it for emergency plant something.
No promises.
Mayor Mays and Council, I will add that they have been very supportive of our Blake Street application and wrote a letter of support. And so we appreciate that partnership for the rest of Blake Street as well.
Awesome.
What we're referring to as Blake Street.
Yeah, great. Any other questions of anybody? Oh, I apologize. Anyone in the audience like to testify in support or opposition to the proposed annexation? Hearing none, we will close the first public hearing and potentially the last public hearing of the proposed annexation. Discussion by council or other questions by council?
I would just echo what I said about the previous application in regards to this application and 1 versus 2 hearings.
Would anyone opposed to doing it in one hearing?
Oh, I'll even make the motion.
All right.
I'd like to read caption and adopt ordinance 2019-017, approving annexation AN 19-03 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 47.25 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent to Southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area.
Second.
Awesome. So,
Ordinance 2019-017, approving annexation AN 19-03 into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 47.25 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent Southwest 124th Avenue right-of-way within the Tonquin employment area. Counselor Scott?
Aye.
Counselor Griffin?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Garland?
Aye.
Council President Rosner?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, staff, and welcome to Sherwood. Next on the agenda is City Manager Report. Joe?
Mayor and Council, just 2 items as a reminder for both the council and also the community. Thursday night, we have a budget committee meeting here at City Hall at 6 o'clock. The budget committee meets usually quarterly. This will be David Bodway, our new finance director's first meeting with the budget committee. So we'll be here on Thursday night. And then also a week from Thursday is our board and commission appreciation dinner, which we do every December. That'll be on Thursday, December 12th over at the Arts Center. And we're looking forward to that as well. Any questions for myself, for the directors that are here?
Awesome.
Remind you, we have a work session and an exec session after the business meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Council announcements? Who'd like to announce something?
I'll go. Why not?
Sure.
Let's see, I attended the Police Advisory Board meeting.
Yeah.
Yep, it was great. It was tons of fun. And they talked about the Traffic Safety Committee. Thank you. Chief was there right next to me, helped me through the whole evening. And the 2 new officers came and introduced themselves, to the board, and it was great. I ran into both of them like twice at Walmart already, so I was saying hi to those guys. It was great. They're very excited about that, the committee that is going to be developed. And I thought it was Mike Smith and Vince Stimler are new PAB members, and Chris West and Mike Smith are going to be liaison to that committee, and then the chief's going to work out some of the rest of that. So if you started to receive any applications yet, I think we haven't actually advertised yet, have we? Yeah.
Well, I've had at least one inquiry.
Yeah.
More than one inquiry.
I think the public is really going to eat this up.
folks.
Yeah. It was great. It was really, really
And
great.
one was like really
Gung-ho?
probably qualified,
Oh, nice.
overqualified. So it was interesting.
Let's see. I also attended the Parks and Rec meeting on Monday night. That was last night, and they really did their SWAT, getting ready for the dinner next week. And they talked a bit about the Parks Master Plan and just kind of They talked about the new donate a bench in a public place program. So they're still kind of working through some of the details on that. So I think we got an email in regards to that. And then the Sherwood Robin Hood Festival Association, of course, they're doing their big thing on Saturday, big tree lighting, everything. So I'll just give you a quick rundown. So starting at 8 donuts at Rebecca Lodge, 52-year Sherwood tradition donuts.
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
So the day starts early. Don't be deceived.
If you get there
The day starts early.
8:45, they're gone.
Right, but none of this wait till 4 o'clock.
Oh, right.
thing.
Oh, no, yeah. Let's see, then they'll have lunch from 10:30 to 2 at the lodge. The parade starts at 4 o'clock. It's starting in Coles this year instead of over at Sherwood Plaza because they're doing something over there in the plaza. So to start at Coles, go down 12th, and then down.
Same as last year.
Is that same as, it was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2 years ago then. All right. The high school band's going to be marching in it. It's going to be great. Then 4 o'clock, we'll meet, do the tree, and sing along. Someone in a big red suit is going to appear around 4:20. No, not Tim. Somebody else in a big red suit. I just had to throw that in, Tim. Tree lighting. It's my turn.
I don't own a red suit.
Oh, you don't.
We know people.
That's right. We know people. Let's see. Then it was. They're going to have the horse and buggy rides, the carriage rides, again, that was really popular last year. You had to get there early, otherwise they sold out. That's going to go until about 6:15. Free hot dogs and cookies donated by Safeway and Walmart. Free coffee and hot chocolate donated by Symposium. And Santa will have free goodie bags for all the kids that they can.
What's the age limit?
You can get one.
Oh, if you want one? I have no idea. Lots of things going on. So you can check the Robin Hood Festival.
Last.
.org website. All of this is on there. It's really going to be tons of fun. So, and the council will be handing bags of, wait, what's this doing up here? Bags of candy out to the public. There are bags and bags and bags and bags. So we hope everybody shows up. It'll be great. That's it.
Who'd like to go next?
Go down the road.
Okay.
Because I'm short. Thank you, Russell, for attending Police Advisory Board for me. Big shout out to the Springs here in Sherwood. I got my mom moved in last week, and just what a great facility we have here. It's very homey, making a transition for seniors a little bit easier, even when it's difficult. So the only other advisory or liaison was the Washington County Community Development Block Grant Committee, and we are just now going into our next application period. We'll be reviewing those applications to give out grants. That'll be in January. So that's it.
Awesome.
I'll keep it short as well. It's actually, with the holidays, it's been quiet. So really the only meeting I had was with the Historical Society the week before last, their monthly meeting. The big news there is they're working on being able to accept credit cards next year at the Music on the Green for the beer.
Nice.
The
little
beer
things
gardens.
sometimes
Yes.
that can make a big influence to the bottom line.
Yes, so
Good.
they're working through that process, but everything's running really well over there. They're very appreciative of the work that the city's done on the building with the new roof and the painting that's occurred, and that's all I got.
Awesome. Renee?
Let's see. Well, my birthday was last week, so I turned another year
Happy
older.
birthday.
That was exciting.
Can we sing?
No, thank you. But I also attended the Library Advisory Board meeting, and we spent a lot of time talking about the quarterly report, which you all have in your packet. And I wanted to point out just a couple of things because I always find it fascinating, the good work that we're doing. But just at our library alone, because of the Washington County Cooperative Services, we have access to over 1.7 million items countywide at our fingertips whenever we want them. We're doing great work here, 1.9% over last quarter as far as circulation. Estimated value is 2.1 million. Again, this is an awesome commodity that we have here in the community. One of the patrons that attended summer reading says that the library is the heart of the city and that they love the library. It's so important to our community, and I think that we need to remember that as the bond comes up, or the levy comes up in May. We also talked about the SWOT analysis, and I think the library's SWOT analysis is going to be pretty superb because Adrienne and her staff have done a really good job on it, and the advisory board is really all in on it as well. An announcement that next week on Tuesday, December 10th, is the next chamber meeting, and it's at Al's. It's the big one. It's the fun one. And if you bring a clothing item, it'll be donated to Share here in the community, and it's also the gift exchange. You'll probably talk about the art walk, right?
Not me.
Are you talking about?
Okay, art walk is this coming Thursday, 5 o'clock, if I remember correctly. Downtown Sherwood. That's all I've got.
When you said share, I was puzzled because I couldn't imagine why she would need.
SHARE.
I apologize. I don't know why I was thinking had that thought for some reason. All right.
Someone's singing tonight, it sounds like. So didn't have any meetings since our last one, so I'll throw out a couple events that are going on around town here. Tomorrow night, if anybody is interested in hearing our fantastic Sherwood Middle School beginning band concert, their first concert of the year, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Sherwood Middle School. I happen to know somebody who plays flute that's going to be in that band.
How awesome will that be?
She is very excited about that. It's in the upper gym, if you guys are familiar with the Sherwood Middle School. Monday the 16th will be the Sherwood School District Boundary Adjustment Meeting at Laurel Ridge Middle School. It's the second of 2 meetings that they're having on that. They are looking for input because there are some potential changes on the horizon next year for the elementary schools. If you haven't looked at this information yet, I suggest you do, because there are some very significant potential changes in the proposals. So 6 to 8 at Laurel Ridge Middle School. Just Google Sherwood School District, go to their main site. There's a link for all the boundary adjustments. There's 4 different maps for 4 different proposals. And there's an email address where you can contact them. If you can't make it to the meeting, please do submit your views on those proposals. And then just a preemptive happy birthday to my daughter Ivy, who turns 10 next Monday. So that is all.
Awesome. Doug?
I'm going to have to add that my daughter, Lindsay, will turn 14 on Sunday, so happy birthday in advance to her. Unfortunately, that for related reasons, I will not be available at the festivities this weekend because I'll be watching both my daughters compete at the convention center Saturday afternoon and evening. So I will be here in spirit, and hopefully next year I can attend if there's not a conflict. There was not a planning commission meeting last week. They did have a joint work session with us earlier this evening around the comprehensive plan update. They are having a work session again next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here, and having tackled finally the fence code update work, they have now been tasked by this body with taking on sign code changes. So
Very
they're
limited
starting.
scope, right?
Well, we'll see. I think that's what's starting as limited scope, but they could take it anywhere they want, right? So they're going on to sign codes starting next Tuesday. So could be fun.
Yeah.
You sent it to them.
Narrow focus means success, just as a tidbit of suggestion.
I've heard nothing otherwise.
Okay, good. Since we're announcing birthdays, last month was my father's birthday, and this Saturday is my mother's birthday. And I won't share ages. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Want to thank Public Works and for all their efforts the last couple of days. We've had some frozen mornings, and lo and behold, they've put down the stuff to help minimize the impact in our community, and that's awesome. Thanks in advance to Public Works and staff and PD for the upcoming parade and tree lighting. That's going to be awesome, and they do a lot of work to help make that a success. Certainly all of the volunteers and Robin Hood Festival Association for doing that, and everybody that donates everything that makes it all great. I'm saying all that because I'm not going to be there Saturday. It's going to be an awesome event, but unfortunately a friend of mine died on Thanksgiving. And so Saturday is the service. So, Tim, thanks for covering, and let me move on. Tim and I and staff, we met with Roy Rogers last week, which was good to talk about big picture city needs with transportation and how the county can help us. Thursday, we'll meet with our state senator, Kim Thatcher, to help get her in the loop on what we're trying to do as a community and get her support and see how we can help her into this week. I'm attending League of Oregon Cities board. And what else? I don't know if I'll be here on the 17th. Might be out of town for our short meeting, so in advance, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's it. We'll adjourn to work session and exec session.